Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over the Stargate itself. Now, I've talked about the Ancients, the Asgard, and, well, as you know, the Ancients were the race who built the Stargate. But we're going to be touching the actual device itself. I've shown you one of these in the Stargate Network game. The Stargate itself is a transportation device made of raw naquita, a highly conductive and powerful mineral. These are chevrons. There are 9 in total on every single Stargate. However, it takes an enormous amount of power just to dial 7 chevrons. When dialing inside one galaxy, 7 chevrons are used. 6 chevrons locking onto a point in space, and the 7th being the point of origin. For instance, that one I showed you in the game was Earth's point of origin, that that sort of at with a dot above it. Anyway, the 8 chevrons dials into a completely different galaxy. For instance, they had to use an 8 chevron address to dial Pegasus in order to send the Atlantis expedition. When using different chevrons, you have to be extremely precise, or you can end up way off course. But, however, there are small problems sometimes. The gates sometimes need a lot of power to lock on, and unfortunately, there are some times that, well, let's just say at one point Earth made a bit of an problem for themselves when they accidentally made a wormhole go through a star, and unfortunately it picked up an element from the galaxy when the wormhole was being formed, plutonium to be precise. It bonded with. Okay, so this is the plutonium here, and this is the sun. When the wormhole went through the sun, and the plutonium ended up being stuck in the middle, causing the sun's nuclear reaction to change. The sun immediately became something of a red giant. It becomes like that near the end of its lifespan. However, it didn't make any sense. That star was nowhere near ready. SG-1 figured out what happened, and unfortunately it took them quite some doing to fix it. And while the planet in question was an Asgard protected planet, they couldn't do anything about it. And if you're wondering why, the Protected Planets Treaty did not allow the Asgard to protect them from natural disasters. Anyway, back on topic. When dialing 7 chevrons, it still takes an enormous amount of power, like I've said. For instance, there are some times when you have to, put in a lot of extra energy to, for instance, get a lock on the Stargate itself. If a Stargate is buried, the 7th chevron will not lock. That's normally this one right here. When you dial 8 chevrons, it will take enormous amounts of power. For instance, when they first dialed Atlantis, they used a ZPN that was nearly dead. Seriously, that took a lot of power. It was a one-way trip at the time. Sorry. Anyway, in the later bits of Stargate, they found a way to dial the mythical 9 chevron address, which was the speed ship Destiny, but that's a little off topic. Dialing 9 chevrons takes incredible amounts of power. To do so, they found a planet that had a core made completely of the rare derivative of naquita we know as naquadria. It's extremely unstable in its raw form, and quite frankly very destructive. For instance, just one naquadria bomb that had, say, some maybe amount of coke in this tin, that was enough to create an explosion big enough to wipe out a small town. Yeah, like probably the town size of my hometown. Point is that it took a lot of power to dial it. However, naquadria, while it is unstable, it's not exactly the most reliable power source. Before the Asgard helped, humanity was going to use naquadria to make, interstellar hyperdrives. In fact, they actually designed a fighter called the X-302 that had a naquadria-powered hyperspace window generator, designed to allow them to enter hyperspace. However, the problem was that since naquadria is so unstable, they had to include so many different safeguards that it didn't work. Eventually, the Goa'uld Anubis found the naquadria and used it to power his ship. Anubis ascended at one point to where the ancients got to and gained a lot of knowledge. They sent him back, however, it didn't send him back all the way. He was still a form of energy, thus he had a lot of ancients' knowledge and mastery of ancient technology. Point is, he was able to use his knowledge to stabilize the naquadria and use it to power his ship. Unfortunately, due to that, we didn't get any data on the subject, so it didn't make dialing a destiny any less difficult. The problem is that when they managed to get a lock on destiny, it was actually pretty clever of the ancients. Remember how I said the point of origin is normally the planet that, well, you're dialing from? The ancients made it so that destiny needed a code. The only symbol that would work to dial destiny was Earth's point of origin, along with the other 8 symbols. They were very clever about it. My guess is they only ever intended it to be dialed from Earth, so they only made it so it would answer to that. I know it didn't make much sense in the whole physics of everything, but in all fairness, it was pretty impressive. Anyway, you guys, I know this video was pretty short compared to the other ones, but I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next time.